Hi, this is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. Welcome back to Collaboration Summit, November 2018. I cannot believe this is already the third session. It seems like we just now this minute started. I am so excited about our next guest. She is not only an amazing friend, an amazing biz bestie, but she is an amazingly brilliant repurposed queen. She has lots of titles that I think I should share with you. We call her our automation ninja. We call her, she is the chief dreamer at Our Young Creators. She is a podcast extraordinaire, and she is creating, I'll call them monsters, out of a bunch of us who have learned how to podcast. I think she is an amazingly brilliant businesswoman who is one of our best kept secrets. And I don't want to keep her a secret anymore. Welcome, Yong Pratt.
Oh, what an amazing intro, Kim. Thank you for inviting me. I am thrilled to be here with you today.
Well, I have to brag on you some more because you have done the work. You know, to be on the Collaboration Summit, you have to graduate from Collaboration 101 class, and you have now done this twice. You have come back and done the work again, and I would love to know what you learned or what it benefited you to do the class again, because I know how exciting it is to learn how to do this, but I would love to hear what you liked or didn't like, or just give me feedback on the class.
Absolutely. And to sum up everything I learned would probably take longer than we have today. But I'll just say, learning how to collaborate has really opened my eyes to the enormous possibilities that are in the world that I didn't see before. Now, when I have all my biz besties and we're working on things together, we can dream together. We can build bigger things together. And both times now I've gone through the class, there has been an outcome. So the first time we collaborated on a little class, which we launched. The second time, you and I collaborated on another class, which is coming out next month. And then Tasha Cole and I are collaborating on something extraordinary as well. So it's been so fun to be able to be immersed and surrounded by extraordinary people who are doing amazing things in the world. And then when you package up those bundles of energy and put them together, this spark of magic just happens. And it's been such a fun experience to just learn all the things that you do so beautifully already, that you're showing us and pulling back the curtain and saying, this is how it really looks. What people over here are saying about collaboration, that's not really collaboration. This is what collaboration is. And I've been so appreciative of this process and this step-by-step approach you've shared with us, because you're putting it into pieces we can take, assimilate into our lives, put into action, and then create a collaboration at the end. It's been amazing.
I love that. You're going to make me cry. I think that one of the things that is very difficult for all of us is to watch someone struggle with something that you understand and you know that they can benefit from, and then watch them not do it. And I think the very opposite of you got in and you didn't really know what I was talking about at first, and you learned what I was talking about, and now you're applying it over and over and over, and it will change the outcome of the rest of your life, not just for this summit. And I think you are, and I tease you about being my poster child, because you have listened, and I think that's a huge character trait in you, that you're teachable and you're coachable. And wow, like the outcome is so phenomenal to me, to watch you like dance, not just in the dance world. You were a little dance girl, in the world, but to dance in the business world, you are doing things in a different way, and it's super sexy to me.
Well, thank you. And it has been so much fun to transition from the world of performing arts and teaching kids primarily now into this online space where I get to work with creators of all ages. We love working with kids. We love working with adults. We love working with seasoned business owners, really in the hopes of helping other people get out their message into the world in a very big way, and in a way that's easier than most people think.
I think that's the part of like our collaboration, you and I, that is like the sweetest spot for me is we both understand it, the simple part is if it can be simple and people can do something and actually win from it, it's so much more a gift than if you create something that no one can actually apply everything. And that's what you've done in your class. You've created an amazing class. I am a graduate of your class as well. I just want to brag. And, we have a podcast, and it's all thanks to you. I had wanted to podcast for several years and had no clue and thought there's no way I can take on anything else, and do one more thing. And yet here I sit today as the, one interviewing you. But the truth is you've blessed me so much because we now have a My Sexy Business podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's been such an honor to walk this journey with you and to have you point out things that I didn't realize about myself. And I think that's what a collaboration does. There's somebody in your corner who can say, hey, I noticed this about you. Why are you not doing that instead of this thing you're doing over here? And when you and I first started collaborating on this class, I didn't think that I wanted to be in this space as far as podcasting, because there's some really huge names in podcasting. And I kept thinking, who am I to be able to walk into this space and wave my flag and say, look, hey, I have a different way to do things. Yes, you can do it that way, but I found this other way that works for me. And now it's worked for my students repeatedly, and they're able to get their podcast out to the world in a very fast manner. And when I first started podcasting way back in 2013, it took me months because I kind of went it alone. I did invest in a course back then, but it wasn't like what we have now in podcasts in a weekend. It was, weeks and weeks and weeks of work. And that's what I had created originally. And when you came to me and said, I want to do a podcast, I kind of offered this class to you. It was over 8 weeks. And you just said, I don't have 8 weeks, so how can you make it easier for me? So we were going back and forth, and at the end, we came up with this podcast in a weekend idea where we could get the work done quickly. We could take massive action, and it doesn't have to take all weekend. We had, in our first round, Nicole actually finished the whole class in 4 hours. Yes. And that blew my mind because I'm thinking, okay, this is a lot of content, a lot of videos, but because you came back and said, you can do it better. I really think you can dial it in more. You can make those videos shorter. You can make that workbook a little bit tighter. And going back and forth and collaborating, that was a beautiful thing to go through, because not only did the class happen in weeks, like in 2 or 3 weeks, I think we created the entire class. And I never would have created something so quickly had I been left to my own devices, because I would have second guessed myself. I would have thought I wasn't ready yet. I would have put every excuse in the book in my way to not go out and launch this thing. So the Collaboration Summit, if anything, really, probably the biggest lesson has taught me is that if you want to create something, it doesn't have to take months and years and decades to do. It really just is a matter of putting your mind to creating something, finding people who can collaborate, who are on the same train going in the same direction, who have equally big visions. You put those visions together, and all of a sudden, what comes out at the end is far better than what each of you could have done individually.
Yes. Oh, and I tell you what, you have been so, I have to brag on you again, because again, that listening part, we all get stubborn. Like, we all have this part in us that it should work a certain way because we've heard someone else say that it should work a certain way. And when I came back to you and kind of blew up your whole plan, I felt bad because, it's like you're telling somebody, no, your baby's ugly. And and here's the thing, most people go, well, fine, I'm not going to play with you anymore. I'm not going to, but you came back immediately and said, okay, how can I make my baby pretty? How can I change this to where people will actually succeed at this and walk away with something amazing? And that was the thing that happened with every single graduate, was that everyone had a huge win in the shortest time possible. And that in itself is a testament to you, though. That's a testament to you listening to everyone that was in the class to co-create this again, because you have better the second round, and now you're going into the third round. And I want to make sure that everyone listening understands that the summit is to promote everyone who graduated from the collab class. But one of the things that's sexy to me is you didn't just create a class and have a class on the shelf. You've had 2 classes graduate. You've collected money, and I think that's an important part of it. You've made money both times, and now you're going into a third launch of the class. And wow, and imagine if you would have said, no, I'm not going to change anything.
Right. And if there's one thing I've learned over the years, and I've been in business now for going on 18 years, which is hard to imagine, I'm a pretty good student. If one of my mentors says, do this, I may not exactly trust in the process, but I'll try it and see if it works. And then if it works, of course, then I'm going to do it again and again and again. And that's what I've learned from you in this collaboration class, that you have set the example. You set the bar very high for us. And you said, this is what can happen if you follow these steps. And it might feel backwards sometimes. It might feel counterintuitive. But every step in this process, there is an ulterior motive in doing it the way you're doing it and leading us through this path and being able to go through it now a second time. There's new insights. There's new people in the collaboration class. So there's new energy, there's new ideas. And so now I can just feel this momentum building. It's like the first time we did it, we built a little snowball. And then now this snowball is getting bigger. And so I know each time I go through this collaboration class with you, the snowball is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you and I have already brainstormed on what the next year of classes looks like, which is fantastic, because even just 4 months ago, if someone said by December of 2019, you'll have launched a dozen classes, I would have said, no way. There is no way, because first, it's a ton of work. And second, who has the time? But the way that you lay things out in the collab classes, like, okay, take action on this and you do this. And when you do it, you get results. It's a magical thing.
Well, I think it's awesome because you are you do have a lot of things coming up. You have some amazing things that I hope you come back to every summit and graduate from every class, because every time you do a new thing, I can't wait to see the outcome of that one, because and I guess that's the thing that a lot of us have done. We have been taught that it needs to look a certain way, or we need to do certain things. And the truth is, it's not. We need to do simple. We need to do, things that actually create wins for other people. And we need to be in a group of people, a community that actually is helping us, is actually creating momentum in our lives because of their support. And I think this whole group of this whole class has done that, because I've watched the interactions and the feedback and the stuff that's gone on. And to me, that's another sexy part, is you gain confidence from it, because now you've got real people telling you, their real opinion to help you do something amazing, which again, I feel like that's a co-creation. Collaboration creates some co-creation of things.
Absolutely. And hats off to you, too, for reiterating your mantra of messy is beautiful. Because personally, I am a recovering perfectionist, a recovering people pleaser. There are days when I definitely fall into that trap, and I call it comparison island, where I start to drift off, getting out of my lane and look at what everyone else is creating and doing and comparing. And that's such a terrible place for me to be. But I think for all of us, we all go there sometimes. But to have permission to do it messy and to learn in the process and to co-create with the people who are going to my classes, we're all learning from each other, and that makes what we're all creating that much stronger.
Well, and I mean, hats off to you for this class, because this class has produced multiple podcasters, each round, and you are really helping people gain momentum in their businesses, because let's not forget what a podcast is for. It's not so that we can brag and say, hey, I have a podcast. It's actually to create space for our business in the online space. It's actually to promote people, to promote ideas, to promote principles. Like we're doing 100 sexy business principles. A lot of people don't even know what a sexy business is. Mm-hmm. And you have been the facilitator. You have created that space for us to come in and do that. And I would love for you to describe the class. I can go on, and I need to be quiet because I get so excited talking to you. But, tell everyone what the class looks like. Like, what is it that is different about this class?
Absolutely. Thank you for this opportunity. So Podcasting Weekend is a class where we are going to come together as a group. We are going to help support one another, much like this collaboration summit has provided, a support network. So together with other podcasters and other heart-centered entrepreneurs who have amazing missions, who have such big hearts, who are servant leaders in their own areas, we're able to bundle all of that passion into a podcast. And we're going to learn to do it in a kind of a backwards fashion, where most people, when I explain it to them at the beginning, they kind of look at me quizzically and think, wait, that seems really backwards. But the way that we do it, though, it's all about taking what we're already creating in the world and breathing new life into it on a podcast. So we're taking those Facebook Live videos, those Facebook pre-recorded videos you may have uploaded, and we're turning those into podcast episodes. Because when you have a message to share, it's one thing to have a favorite platform like Facebook and want to go live here all the time. Not everybody is on Facebook. So my whole philosophy about marketing is let's meet people where they're hanging out. So if they're hanging out over on Spotify, if that's where they enjoy their music, let's put our podcast over there so they have access to it. If they hang out on Google Play, let's put our podcast there so they can have access to it. If they're an iTunes user, we definitely want to put our message there. So we're learning how to magnify our message by putting some really smart automations in the process so we can do the majority of the podcasting work automatically. You're going to meet Pammy, who is your podcast automation machine, and she is going to help you to do all the work in the background so you don't necessarily have to hire someone to do all of the behind the scenes work. Once you put her into place, she's going to do it for you. And so we can start creating podcasts faster than you ever thought possible. It's not going to take you weeks and weeks and months and years to create your podcast. You're going to put it into place in a weekend. And then from there, we're just going to grow and magnify that by adding in some more bells and whistles. But the biggest takeaway is that speed is our friend. Action is our friend. I'm going to break down podcasting in the way that I've been doing it for years, in the way that works best for me. So it's not consuming all of my time, because for me, a podcast is not something else I have to do. It's something I get to do, something that it's a joy to do. And now that I can do it automatically, that's even better. It's like the icing on the cake. You know, at the end of this process, I would say we're going to be spending 15 to 30 minutes putting your podcast together, meaning you're going to be going live or making a video to share. And then we're going to turn that in to a podcast automatically, and we're going to share it on multiple platforms. So your one little piece of content, your one little video, we're going to take that and we're going to multiply it, and we're going to multiply it, and it's going to keep compounding, just like everything we've done in the collaboration class. One lesson, one success builds on the next. And that's very much how I love to look at podcasting. It's about taking action, getting little wins, and those little wins compound by the end of a weekend or the end of a month to become this beautiful, brand new podcast that you can share with the world.
Oh, it's so exciting. And, just speaking to the time thing, when I was talking to you in the beginning about it, I told you I can't commit to several hours a week to do a podcast. And that's what I had in my mind that it would take. And I think some of the conventional ways that people do podcasting, it does take time. Yeah. It does take quite a lot of time. But here's the part that's beautiful about going with the automation ninja herself is that when I went in thinking I would have to spend about half an hour a week or commit to about half an hour a week, I actually ended up saving about 3 hours a week. And don't ask questions. Like, it sounds like that's totally crazy too, but that's exactly what has happened. Is it saved me time by doing the podcast. It's actually saved me time in several areas because of the automation. So if you're like me and you're too busy, or you think you're too busy for a podcast, let me just help you with this. You will save time doing it the way that Yong teaches it in this class. You will actually save time in your week and have a bigger presence on lots of platforms without taking any more time to do it. That to me is super sexy.
Yeah, it's been such a fun experience too to watch this creation kind of come to life, because when I first started podcasting, there weren't all these tools that I'm going to introduce in this class, and really just 2 tools that can do all the work for you, which is fantastic. I used to do it manually, and it did take hours, and there were times when I dreaded having to do it because there was a lot of editing. There was a lot of time staring at my computer, talking into a microphone, really feeling like I was talking to nobody. But now, because we have the ability to go live on platforms like Facebook, we can have a conversation. It feels very different to record a podcast when people are on the other side of the lens versus when you're sitting in your basement or your closet or wherever you're recording your podcast in the old days. That was me. It felt really lonely. Mm-hmm. But now, because we have automation tools and we have live video, now we can really start to put all those things to work for us instead of having to do all the work ourselves.
And you're like the repurposed queen. So you teach in that class a lot of things we can do that I guarantee you the people that are taking the class didn't know before that was even possible to do with a click of a button. Like that's the part that's so crazy, is the possibilities that we don't even know exist. You are teaching in this class, and I am thrilled. I can't wait for all the classes to come out. I'm in a weekend series junkie now, I will call it. I'm an addict because I'm so proud of you for doing it in a way that people can win quickly. They can move quickly. And, it takes just as much effort to make a big move as it does to do a little move. So why not make a big move? And you've priced the class ridiculously inexpensively so that people can, have a quick win with not a lot of money and not a lot of effort. And so you've hit all the pain points. Like, all the excuses are gone for why you can't do a podcast. If you've played around with the idea, if you're listening to this and you've played around with the idea of having a podcast and you understand the value, then don't think anymore about it. Just go sign up for the class. If you don't understand what the podcast is about, you need to have a conversation with Yong, because there are so many things that you can bless people, get your message out there, promote your business. There's a long list of reasons why a podcast is really these days an essential tool for business.
Absolutely. And because we're coming up on the holiday season and there's lots of time being spent with families, a podcast is an incredible way to start documenting your family memories, those stories from grandpa, those stories from great grandma. You can sit and record those and turn those into audios. You can use them as videos. And that's a really, really great thing to have that digital scrapbook so that when great grandma Joe is not here anymore, you can go back and you can listen to her voice. You can listen to her story. You can listen to her, watch her on video. Those memories are priceless. And so the next class is next Friday, November 16th. And if you're watching or listening to the replay, if you have kids in your life, whether they are yours or the next door neighbors, podcasting is a really great tool to start empowering our kids to use the devices that they're spending hours on already to learn to create something of their own, to share their talents and their skills and their messages. And imagine being able to sit down with your kids side by side, record a video, turn it into a podcast, and again, years from now, look back and you get to hear their little voices and when their voices change and the way that they grow. Those are all going to be documented for you. And the way that we do podcasting, we'll be able to preserve our video as well as an audio of all of the milestones.
Well, and I love it because you're connecting generations. Because there's no reason little Johnny, who has a tablet, who runs around wanting to video stuff anyway, there's no reason why grandma and him can't sit down and record some things, and how precious that is. Keeps him out of trouble, keeps grandma, engaged with the littles, and then you have something for posterity. I just think that that's like such a beautiful concept.
And one of the questions I get asked all the time too is, how do I get my kids off of their devices? And like you said, if Johnny already has the tablet, why not give him permission to use it in a positive manner versus just staring at videos or gaming all the time? Show him how to make a video. Show him how to record a podcast. Show him how to put those things together, how to build a website, how to make a YouTube video. I mean, the possibilities are endless because these devices have so many capabilities. And it's really now about coming together, harnessing that power and putting it together as a family and for business as well. I mean, there's so many applications for a podcast. And I truly believe everyone needs a podcast. There's a message each of you has to share. There's a talent. There's lessons learned that somebody out there is waiting for you to face some fears you may have, push through and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to share this message because I've learned X, or I've been able to make something simpler, and I'm going to share that. Whatever your gift is, it needs to be shared. And I am going to cheer you on and help you make that a reality for yourself, for your business, and with your family.
I love it. I love your mission. I love you. And I appreciate you so much. Will you please drop a link in with the dates and the information about the class, because I don't want anyone to miss out on signing up and like being a part and coming out the other side, one of us podcasters.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to meet all my new graduates. It's one of my greatest goals now to see other people take their message and sprinkle it out into the world so more people's lives can be changed as a result.
So sexy. That is definitely a sexy class and a sexy teacher, because she teaches you how to do things in a way that doesn't consume your time, doesn't cause or it really ceases the friction between you and your kids, promotes your business without, a cost, and so much more. I mean, we can go on and on about the benefits. So thank you so much, Yong.
Thank you so much, Kim, for inviting me to be part of this class and really sort of taking me along this journey with you to show me the possibilities, because I'm more excited after 15 years of being in business. It's such an exciting time now because you've opened the doors to possibilities, and those possibilities lie in the collaboration you taught us to create. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Like I said, you're going to make me cry before this episode is over, this session. But thank you. If you're listening, please do get connected with Yong. Check out her podcast in a weekend class. It is phenomenal. I cannot recommend it enough. Don't play around. Like, quit entertaining what you really think you want and just do it. It will like bless you huge. It will bring your message to the world, and everyone is waiting for you to show up. So please show up. This is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. We're here to help you create sexy businesses for sexy lives at the Collaboration Summit. Love you guys.